I was just sitting here and I was like, oh, I think this is my like daily Dunkin uniform. But anyway, so I've been going, and I've said this like 1,000 times, but like I've been going to this Dunkin since they opened like right before the pandemic. And it was the only drive-thru Dunkin, so it was the only place I could really go when there was shutdown. Anyway, I've seen a lot of like, because it's been around for a while, like there's been like this lately, like a revolving door of new people. And, you know, I had gotten so accustomed to my peeps during the pandemic that like when people started to leave, you know, you miss them, right? You bond, and then you miss them, and then they leave and new people come, and it's just one of those things, right? There's this one, kid, and maybe I need to stop myself from saying kids. Maybe I'm at that age where like everybody way younger than me is a kid, so I guess that's just the way it is, right? But you know, the last couple times I've gone through, like, you know, he always is asking these like pondering questions. Like it was around the holidays, and the one thing he asked, and he said to me, he's like, what do you think? And I don't know why like they choose to ask me, maybe because I go there a lot, but he's like, what do you think? Do you think that like if 4 people are supposed to be scheduled for a shift, and they only have 3, that those 3 people should be able to split the 4th person's salary or their pay for the day? And I was like, yeah, well, why not? I'm like, did the person call out, or is it a matter of, you know, then I start overthinking it, and I'm like, well, is it a matter of, you know, like they're just really good, so, you know, the manager's very lucky that he only has to use 3 people when technically he should schedule 4, but he's probably not paying those people more than like he would have paid that, you know, the mediocre person, right? So it was just kind of like interesting, right? It just, you know, you can just tell he works hard and he cares, and, you know, there's some people just give off like a vibe, right? Today I just went through, right, and I got my Sabrina's Shakin Espresso. And he gives me my overpriced sourdough breakfast sandwich, and I knew it was very expensive, but I got it anyway, okay, because I just wanted it. And I'm probably gonna eat it right now while I talk to you. But anyway, he says to me, he's like, hey, you know, what do you think about that ad? This Shakin Espresso ad. Did he like just know that I have thoughts on these things? I don't know. But I'm like, well, you know, I'm not a huge fan in general of you know, celebrity marketing that Dunkin's been doing. He's like, I'm like, you know, it's kind of like over-sexualized. He's like, yeah, the whole shaking that ass thing. And I'm like, that's, you know, that's the way it is. I'm like, it's that gamer mentality. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And then I had said to him, well, I'm a gamer too. And he's like, I would never have taken you as a gamer. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, you know, the people that come through here are just like old. And I'm just like, bitch, like, I'm 50. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I game all the time. I said, I'm about to go home and go play some Marvel Rivals. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I like play with my daughter all the time. And he's like, how old's your daughter? I'm like, 18. And he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, she's come through here. And I don't know if like they can see the passenger or how deep people look into the car. I mean, I brought her many times before, but it was just really funny. I'm like, yeah, and I stream too sometimes. And so I don't know. I just thought that was a very funny little conversation to have had today at my little Dunkin', because people are always surprised. And as a matter of fact, there's these 2 brothers that work here. I don't know if they're twins. They look so alike. And I don't know if they're twins, but one time we got to talking about gaming, and now every time I pull in, they're like, hi ma'am, how are you today? And they're like super excited, and like they're the sweetest kids, but they're like my daughter's age, right? But yeah, anyway, I just thought that was a cute little interaction, and I love learning about people and then surprising them. And you know, it just goes to show you too, I think it's one of those things where, you know, as you get older, you know, people, not that they doubt you, that's not like the word I'm looking for, but they not even underestimate, but they're like surprised that, you know, people who are, you know, at least like 50, you know, or maybe even 40 plus, we do like to do the same things that like the younger generation does, and particularly gaming. And it's something that, you know, I've noticed and have tried to advocate for is, you know, gaming in general, it's always very geared to like the younger generation, which, you know, go for it. You know, we enjoy gaming too. I mean, I played Atari and freaking ColecoVision back in the day, right? And I think we still have this, you know, stigma where gaming is just for men or for boys in general. And, you know, just about 50% of the gaming audience is women or identifies as women, you know? So I just find that really interesting. And that's something I actually put a blog together yesterday. because of all the things that were happening with Marvel Rivals and the banning of TikTok, and you know, because it's a Chinese app, and by the way, it's Chinese developers who did Marvel Rivals. And you just see some of the, like, the reflection, and I just feel like, and I don't know, it may not be just Asian culture, because I don't want to make the generalization, but even like the anime, right? You know, the characters are always very sexualized. Now, we can go back, way back into time and see, like, in comic books, the female characters are always very over exaggerated and always very curvy or over sexualized in what they're wearing. And you know, you see that today in Marvel Rivals. Like, I play Cloak and Dagger, and if it's really hard to not be sitting there staring at, you know, Dagger's butt when you're like trying to heal, like the way they you know, curved it and made it like very like rounded. I know I'm like sounding like a real creep right now, but I mean, it's hard, you can't avoid it, you're playing the freaking character, right? And so, you know, that's the kind of stuff. And it's not even Dagger isn't necessarily the thing, but like, you know, the newest character they launched, the Invisible Woman, Susan Storm, her regular, you know, Fantastic Four outfit is normal, but then they have this Malice skin, and I believe it is what she looks, and I have to check it out actually after this, because I wanted to see, because my daughter was telling me this, because I'm like, man, that is like a very risque looking little skin that they put her in, which is ironic, and it just shows who they're catering to. Although I've seen like gay women comment on it, and they were like, oh yeah, she's looking good too. But you know, like, it's just that, you know, very common thing where women are very over sexualized and men are very like masculine and muscular in games. And like, you know, it's 2025. You'd think that we would change our mentality a little bit, but not with the stuff that's happening with the new regime that's going into office. Don't get me started on that, you know. But you know, as a woman, it's like the objectification of women in games is just, enough is enough already. I mean, games were developed to like catch a man's eye, make him, you know, spend the money, but like the women are playing it too. And I'll tell you, like Marvel Rivals, I really enjoy the game, but there's like things like that it's like, come on guys, like, I know. And here's the other problem, and I know I'm going down a little rabbit hole, which I'll cover this in my blog too, and I'll start writing more and probably talking more about it, is the free to play mentality. Is that the way these companies, when they launch a free-to-play program, is the way that they make money is off of the extras, right? The cosmetics. So of course you're going to go into season 1 of Marvel Rivals, you want to be the biggest game, which is the most popular game being played right now. I think, you know, Overwatch, that thing went away. I think a lot of people left Overwatch to play Marvel Rivals. But they know who they're catering to. They're catering to the men. They're catering to the people who are going to dish out the money. And by the way, women play games, okay? You know, it's like something that we've kind of grown accustomed to, sad to say. We've gotten used to it. And it's not like woke ideology that some people call it. I've seen some streamers like, oh, the developers are rejecting woke ideology. No, man, it's like literally being a woman, and we're sick of people looking at us like that. Enough is enough already. Like, you know, it's just there's a lot of things happening, and this is like not to like trash Marvel Rivals. I mean, they're developing their skins the same way they, you know, everything's written in the comics or drawn in the comics. But what I was going to say is that Malice costume, I think, was actually even more risque in the comics than they portrayed in the game. But still, I think they could have done better, especially, you know, as we look at these games, and they're geared towards you know, teens. You know, it's free to play, I believe. I think it's teen. I don't think it's like 18 and up or anything like that. But like, this is why games like Fortnite are successful, because they're not like that. They don't tap into that. You know, they really try to make the game for everyone, and that's what this should be. And it is. I feel like Marvel Rivals can be kind of adult themed, you know, in a way, especially if you've seen the movies and stuff like that. But I just think that there's still so far we have to go, you know. It's everywhere. And as a female gamer, and as a gamer that's older too, I mean, I'm not trying to be the old crotchety lady, but it's exhausting. And you know, I'm not just doing it for myself, but like my daughter plays all the time, and she says the same stuff to me. It's probably stuff I recognized growing up but ignored it. You know, I played Tekken, you know, and like, you know, if you played Anna and her sister, oh my god, I can't think of her name right now, and like those like sexy little, you know, leg showing outfits, it's always been like that. And Mortal Kombat the same way, you know. So it's just like a theme that we've seen since the beginning of time, the objectification of women in games. And I think that Marvel, I want them to succeed. I really do. And and you want them to be true to the comics. I mean, even the way the characters are drawn, they're very comic booky, and I love that. I love that about this game. There's a lot of things I really like, and I want it to do well, but this kind of stuff, like, I don't know if enough people are going to make a big deal about it, or if they maybe will rethink some of these skins, especially if, more kids start to play the game. Anywho, that's it for now. I'm going to eat my sandwich, which is getting cold, and then we'll talk more about it later. Okay, have a good day. Bye.